What if I told you that the cure for your afternoon slump, your achy knees, and even your restless nights might already be sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now? Not a supplement, not a prescription. Something your grandmother used decades ago, something she swore by, something doctors are now saying she was right about all along. We actually tried it. For 30 days, my family threw out the modern medicine cabinet and replaced it with 5 old-fashioned remedies straight from Grandma's kitchen. What happened surprised all of us, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one worked the best and which one we almost gave up on by day 3. Let's go back for a second. Picture a kitchen in the 1950s or 60s. There's no pharmacy on speed dial, no drive-through drugstore, no same-day delivery for vitamins. If someone in the house had a cough, a sore throat, or trouble sleeping, the answer usually came from a jar, a pot, or a spoon, not a bottle with a child-proof cap. Grandmothers were the original wellness experts. They didn't have research papers, but they had generations of trial and error passed down like family heirlooms. And here's the twist nobody expected. Modern science is now circling back and confirming that many of those kitchen remedies were doing something real. Not magic, not miracles, just simple, natural support for the body that we somehow forgot along the way. This is the story of what happened when we brought 5 of those old habits back into a modern home, and what it taught us about healthy aging, longevity, and living well after 50. The first remedy we brought back was honey, plain and simple, the way your grandmother kept it in a jar by the stove. If anyone in the house had a scratchy throat or a nagging cough, out came the honey, sometimes on a spoon, sometimes stirred into warm water. It felt almost too simple to work. But here's what the research actually shows. Studies have found that honey can be just as effective, and in some cases more effective, than common over-the-counter cough medicine for calming nighttime coughs, especially in adults and older children. It's not folklore. Honey has natural antibacterial properties, and it coats the throat, which reduces irritation and helps you actually get some rest. That matters more as we get older, because poor sleep from constant coughing can wear down the immune system even further, creating a frustrating cycle. Now, let's clear up a myth here, because this one gets repeated a lot. Honey is not a cure for infections, and it will not replace antibiotics when they're truly needed. It's a comfort remedy, not a cure-all. The fact is simpler and just as powerful. It soothes, it calms, and it helps your body rest so it can do its own healing. Grandma didn't need a lab to know that a spoonful of something sweet and soothing made a cough feel more bearable. Today's takeaway is easy. Keep a jar of raw honey in your kitchen, and the next time your throat feels scratchy, try a spoonful before reaching for the medicine cabinet. Your future self and your sleep will thank you. The second remedy took us right back to a memory most people over 50 share: the smell of chicken soup simmering on the stove when someone in the family was sick. There was something about that smell alone that made you feel better before you even took a bite. It turns out that feeling wasn't just nostalgia playing tricks on us. Chicken soup has actually been studied, and researchers found it can reduce inflammation in the body and even slow down the movement of certain white blood cells that cause congestion and stuffiness. On top of that, the warm broth keeps you hydrated, and the steam alone can help loosen a stuffy nose. This is a perfect example of a tradition that wasn't just emotional comfort, it had a biological reason behind it the whole time. Now, here's where we have to be honest about the myths. Chicken soup will not shrink a cold overnight, and it's not going to fight off the flu on its own. What it does is support your body while your immune system does the real work, and it helps you stay hydrated and nourished during a time when eating can feel like the last thing you want to do. For anyone focused on aging gracefully, staying properly hydrated during illness is one of the most overlooked pieces of recovery, especially since our sense of thirst naturally decreases as we get older. So, here's your practical takeaway. The next time you or someone you love is feeling under the weather, skip the drive-thru and make a simple pot of chicken soup instead. onions, carrots, celery, a little garlic, and real chicken broth. It's an old habit that still holds up beautifully today. Speaking of garlic, that brings us to our third remedy, and this one might be the biggest surprise of the whole experiment. Garlic used to be everywhere in older kitchens, not just for flavor, but as an actual home remedy. Some families even wore little cloves of it around their neck during flu season, which, admittedly, we did not bring back for this video. But eating garlic regularly is a habit backed by real science, especially when it comes to heart health. Multiple studies have shown that garlic can help modestly lower blood pressure and improve cholesterol levels when eaten consistently over time. Since heart disease remains one of the leading health concerns for adults over 50, this is not a small thing. It's one of those simple, traditional, healthy habits that quietly protects you in the background, year after year. Of course, we have to separate fact from exaggeration here too. Garlic is not going to reverse existing heart disease, and it should never replace medication prescribed by your doctor. Think of it as a supporting habit, not a standalone treatment. During our 30 days, we added raw garlic to salad dressings and cooked garlic generously into meals. And honestly, meals felt richer and more satisfying, not like some kind of medicinal chore. The takeaway here is simple. Add 1 to 2 cloves of garlic to your meals a few times a week. It's inexpensive, it's natural, and it's one of those small additions that supports heart health for the long run, which is really what healthy aging is all about. Small, consistent choices instead of dramatic overhauls. Our fourth remedy tackled something almost everyone over 50 struggles with at some point, and that's sleep. Grandma's answer was warm milk before bed, sometimes with a touch of honey stirred in, which nicely brings our story full circle. For a long time, people assumed this was just a comforting bedtime ritual with no real science behind it, sort of like a lullaby in liquid form. But research has actually given this old habit some credit. Milk contains an amino acid called tryptophan, which the body uses to help produce serotonin and eventually melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate our sleep cycle. Warming the milk also creates a calming ritual, and rituals themselves signal to your brain that it's time to slow down and wind down for the night. This matters even more as we age, since sleep patterns naturally shift and many adults over 50 report lighter, more interrupted sleep than they had in their 30s or 40s. Now, let's be fair about what this remedy is and isn't. A glass of warm milk will not cure chronic insomnia, and if you're dealing with ongoing sleep problems, it's worth having a real conversation with your doctor. But as a nightly habit, it can genuinely support your body's natural wind-down process, especially when paired with other good habits like dimming the lights and stepping away from screens an hour before bed. During our experiment, this became one of the most peaceful parts of the whole month. There was something quietly beautiful about sitting at the kitchen table with a warm glass of milk instead of scrolling through a phone. Your takeaway tonight is simple. Try replacing your last hour of screen time with a warm cup of milk and a few quiet minutes of stillness. It's a small ritual, but it can make a real difference in how easily you drift off. That brings us to our fifth and final remedy, and this one turned out to be the biggest surprise of the entire month. An old-fashioned Epsom salt bath. Many of us remember a grandparent soaking tired feet or aching muscles in a basin of warm water with a scoop of Epsom salt stirred in, especially after a long day of physical work. At the time, it just seemed like something older folks did to relax, but there's more happening beneath the surface than simple relaxation. Epsom salt is made of magnesium sulfate, and while the skin doesn't absorb large amounts of magnesium through soaking, the warm water itself has been shown to relax muscles, ease joint stiffness, and even help lower stress levels by activating the body's natural relaxation response. For adults focused on healthy aging, managing everyday stress is just as important as diet or exercise, because chronic stress has been linked to faster aging at the cellular level and a weaker immune system over time. We have to be honest about the myth here too, since it gets repeated constantly online. Epsom salt baths are not a proven treatment for arthritis, and they won't dramatically replenish your body's magnesium levels through the skin the way some wellness blogs claim. But the fact remains just as valuable. A warm soak genuinely relaxes tense muscles, calms the nervous system, and gives you a peaceful pause in a busy day. And that alone is worth bringing back. By the end of the month, this had become everyone's favorite ritual in the house, myself included. There's something almost meditative about sitting quietly in warm water with nowhere to be and nothing to check. Your takeaway is this: once or twice a week, run a warm bath, add a cup of Epsom salt, and give yourself 20 uninterrupted minutes. Your muscles and your mind will feel the difference. So, after 30 days of living by Grandma's kitchen instead of the modern medicine cabinet, what did we actually learn? None of these 5 remedies were miracle cures, and none of them replaced real medical care when it was truly needed. But together, they reminded us of something important that gets lost in a world of instant solutions and quick fixes. Healthy aging isn't about chasing the newest trend or the latest supplement with a flashy label. It's about returning to simple, consistent habits: nourishing food, real hydration, natural sleep support, and quiet moments of rest. The same habits our grandparents leaned on without ever needing a research study to prove it worked. Longevity isn't built in a single day, and it's never too late to start weaving a few of these old-fashioned habits back into your life, no matter your age or where you're starting from. Sometimes the wisest path forward is actually a path backward, back to the kitchen table, back to the simple rituals that made people feel cared for and whole. If this video brought back a memory of your own grandmother's kitchen, I would love to hear about it. Share your story in the comments below, whether it's the smell of chicken soup on a sick day or a childhood memory of warm milk before bed. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, give this video a like, and if you want more stories like this one that blend healthy aging with a touch of nostalgia, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss the next one. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.